All yours, Mike.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Ron. And look, I want to say right off the bat, what a great consortium, right, between Land Status and Microsoft and Cisco presenting their solutions, all extremely relevant, this ecosystem of, this new world we live in. And look, I get it, right? We all use that term interchangeably, but I think personally that affects us all very succinctly. Let me go through on how exactly. So I want to kind of paraphrase this with a story, right? I think stories are important. Our CEO, Jet Ayers, always talks about, stories really is what makes the world tick. And at the end of the day, right, that's, stories is what makes the human race tick. So let's use, in the vein of this session, let's use Microsoft as a great primer in a good way, right, of where we're at today. 81, they released an operating system, right? The focus of that operating system, of any operating system, is how do I get to my apps and my data, right? That became the huge primer for everything else that came. Their killer app was Excel. Fast forward to 1995, Windows 95 redefined what it was like when it came to how an operating system was presented to the masses, right? You have icons, you have a mouse, you have this ecosystem of apps and data, and now, an operating system that looks very interchangeable. And you go later into the future, right? We're talking 24 years into the future, and now WVD is released, where that operating system is shifted from this great experience that's on these individual devices into the cloud, right? And then we've heard a lot of this today about the cloud and how the cloud defines things. But again, at the end of the day, it's about how do we get to your apps and your data more easily and more securely? So really that becomes the context behind what we've seen in the past year, right? The world is fundamentally changing again. And what IGEL envisions is really a world where all the needed applications and data and resources are cloud delivered. Just like Microsoft said, just like Land Status and Cisco and the people that will come after me will dictate, it's all about the cloud these days. And let's take a second to point that out to you individually at your individual levels of your companies. Most of you are probably running either an on-prem or a hybrid environment. Maybe some of you are fully cloud. At the end of the day, it's going to be some combination of all of those. There's always this nirvana we talk about how do we get to the cloud and what does that mean? But fundamentally, right, that just means how do we make sure that you're secure and that you can scale appropriately? And COVID being one of those situations where it's become very relevant. And IGEL envisions that. So really what IGEL is at the end of the day is we are the next gen edge OS for cloud workspaces. So to put it very simply, smartly, and securely, what we are an operating system that installs on your edge devices that allows you to get to the apps and data that you want wherever they're at, right? And this is where we're such a great story when it comes to the Ciscos or the Microsofts or the Land Statuses or whomever in this world of the tools that they bring to the table. IGEL becomes the last mile, right, of connecting your device to everything that you want. And that's where we kind of play in. So let's dive into these really quick. So as Ron mentioned, one of our key use cases, not our only use case, but one of our key one is what we call the UD Pocket. Again, we're device focused, meaning that we provide an operating system that's managed on a myriad of devices. It could be devices that you repurpose, right? Like an old laptop, and I'm going to show you that in a demo when we get through this in just a second here. It could be thin clients that you like or already have in your environment, or IGEL even provides a USB device like this. It's read-only. You can keep on a keychain. You can plug it into virtually any x86 device, boot off it, get to a secure environment, and access your apps, data, resources, and VDI sessions like VMware and Citrix that Ron put forth. That's what the UD Pocket is. It's just simply a vehicle to get to those pieces. It's highly secure and easily managed. So let's talk about that really quick. When we're talking about this edge workspace, what does that mean? Right? It's really revolutionary in its simplicity. And of course, I'm reading the headline, but that's never a better way to put it. It makes it easy for the IT pros, right, to manage these things at the edge. It's purpose-built operating system. It makes it easy for those end users to connect to what they need to. And really what it does is it boosts productivity, right, by ensuring that great user performance, and it allows you to really repurpose those devices you already have. So reduce your capital expenditure of running, a work from home scenario where you have a lot of these devices at the edge that sit there that, we don't have control over, right? So-and-so took their, lifted and shifted their tower home back in March, and now we don't know how to manage it. We're worried about security at the edge. IGEL gives you a way to send out and to create an environment with these edge users to bring them back into a managed environment in a secure fashion very easily. Part of that is really our integrations. These are the pieces that really make IGEL tick. Like what Microsoft has done, as we showed from 81 to today, they've made an operating system where you can plug something in and it just works. IGEL is extremely focused on those integrations as well. We're here to help you to make those integrations work so that when you're running IGEL on the edge to connect to something like WVD, right, where Windows is running now in Azure, which is the best place for it because of the way that it can be secured and managed more easily. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about our ecosystem and how we integrate. Plug something into IGEL and it can just work. That's kind of our focus. And really, it's that smarter way as well, right? Again, do not spend money on new hardware, right? The average customer saves around 70% with us because we can extend the life cycles of your devices to make it easier to lift and shift those things and ensure that you're getting access to your applications and data very easily. Makes it super easy. And finally, we keep you secure, right? This is really a key piece these days. And it's a vein that we just heard from Cisco in that excellent presentation about what are your users connecting to when they're off, quote unquote, the grid. How are you controlling that? What kind of focus do you have? The device is simply one of those that typically gets overlooked in lieu of software solutions or other solutions like a VPN or other things. What IGEL does, it just fundamentally creates an environment that allows you not to worry about the device either. And it can repurpose those devices. Really, our mission is to be the #1 edge OS. When you connect from anywhere, right, on the edge of a network, even on the edge of an internal network or anywhere, we want to be that device. We want to be that operating system. We want to be that focus for you, where we're purpose-built to deliver applications and data. We're not heavy strung like your typical operating system you might deploy, and we're 100% focused on engaging and creating those inroads into things like WVD and being a partner with Microsoft and others to make that work. And that's really our mantra: any cloud, any device with our management. Connect to Citrix, connect to VMware, connect to Microsoft, connect to Amazon with our operating system and our devices and your devices, from the home, office, or anywhere, and manage it all simply, smartly, and securely. That's really the focus. As an example, this is one of the more powerful quotes that we have from one of our customers. They basically said, look, what really made us stand out was the faster boot up times, the flexibility, the ease of management, right? And none of those come close to IGEL in terms of figuring out how to do that from another endpoint story. Again, our focus is to partner with companies like VMware, like Microsoft, like Amazon, to make sure that these new ecosystems that are cloud-based really become easy for you to manage and holistic in your security approach and your nature. So this presentation is going to go out to you all. Bottom line, there's these links on the bottom here. You can click to contact us. You can even more importantly click a link to actually get a free device that I'm about to show you, which is pretty slick. So you can click that, you can request a device, and we'll send you one to your house, and we'll get you going really quickly and easily. So what I'm going to do now, this is going to be interesting. I don't think anyone's done this quite yet, is I have a device here, and can everyone see that on my screen? My computer that's on there? Assuming we can. Maybe I'll stop showing my application really quick. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to quickly show you. This is an old device of my wife's. It's basically an old Dell laptop. It's running Windows 10 barely on it, but it works for her. I have this device. This is the UD Pocket here. Very small, very easy to use. As you can see here, it's logged into Windows. I'm simply just going to quickly reboot it and get into my USB device here. So this is the process actually that a user would go through, is they simply plug in this device. Again, the technical list here is ensuring that those users understand and know how to boot into these devices. Here, I'm just going to quickly get into the manager here and quickly just boot off it so that we know what we're getting into. So at this point, you can see it's starting to boot into the IGEL ecosystem very quickly and easily. And as this process goes along, right, this shows a lot of focus on exactly what your users would experience. The biggest denominator here is that there's no physical or virtual access if you want to actual drive on their systems, right? So this can be a Mac, it can be a PC, anything x86 based that you're running today. And so as this boots up, you can see the IGEL ecosystem comes up. I have this pre-configured with some things on the back end. One is I'm logging in here to VMware automatically. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off that camera. I'm going to share my screen again. And what I'm going to share here is I'm going to share, let me see if I can move this over really quick. our management console. So this is what it looks like. And one of the really cool abilities, you can actually shadow these users remotely. So now I'm going to get into that operating system, and there it is. So now I'm in a management plane running in the cloud, connecting to my end users quickly and be able to help them and support them. One of the biggest benefits of IGEL is you're able to run things like VMware or Citrix or even WVD and get it up and going very quickly and easily. So here I can quickly run browsers or even run that stuff to make sure that those things are all working correctly the way I need it to be, depending on my use case, right? So here I can even log into Windows Virtual Desktop. As a user, I can work in this ecosystem. And then when I'm done, I'll stop sharing again and switch back over to my camera. At this point, as a user, when I'm complete, I can simply pull out the UD Pocket. And at this point, my device will turn off and I can simply reboot it and it'll boot right back into the OS that I'm using. So again, as you can see here, IGEL is really a vehicle that we're simple, again, to really put that tagline out there, we're smart in the way that we deliver, we're simple in the way that we enable you, and we're secure in the way that you can use us. And at this point, right, you can turn any device. Now I'm back to Windows at this point. I can quickly get into it. I'm back to working again in my own personal device. So again, the concept here is we are a simple, smart, and secure endpoint operating system for the edge for cloud workspaces, and that's what we want to be at the end of the day. That's it for me.